Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media. She wasn't sure what she liked about him. Maybe it was the way his butt wiggled when he was happy to see someone. Maybe it was his tiny high-pitched yips or his not-so-intimidating growl. He was part Chihuahua and part wiener dog, so you can imagine how hilarious his proportions were, but his personality was even more so. Marion was part Pitbull and part neighbor dog, so she was about 3 times the size of her boyfriend, Bruno. But that didn't interfere with this candid canine couple. They passed the time sniffing various things around the yard and piddling in the same spot in turn. Playing with toys was entertaining, but not nearly as captivating as that annoying squirrel who always seemed to outrun them in the hourly race to the tree. They were used to visitors of the human and squirrel kinds, but as Bruno kept watch, something caught his eye. Well, 2 somethings. About 30 yards away, 2 medium-sized black bears were approaching the strictly enforced boundaries of the backyard. As Bruno barked his warning and dashed toward the fence, the bears locked their gaze on the dogs and immediately began to climb it. Bruno's short legs flashed, but were not moving fast enough to escape the bears closing in on him. Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. When you think of Florida, sun-baked beaches may come to mind. Alligators slowly sneaking through swampy water or tropical forests may add to the collage, but black bears? Florida has been at the center of a recent national debate about managing bear populations, and the trend is a concerning one. Around the tiny town of Niceville, yes, that's the real name of Marion's hometown, bears have been showing up around trash day on neighborhood streets. They were searching for scraps of food and causing trouble in general, but there was no history of aggressive behavior before today. As Marion looked on, Bruno fled for his life, but was being overtaken by the pair of bears. Now, for those of you who may not know about the breed history of pit bulls, let's review a few details. The breed of terriers started as bloodsport dogs in England. They were used to fight bulls and various other animals for sport, as well as the pursuit of prey animals. They have a very powerful prey drive, which can make them decisively aggressive, depending on training. They're also fiercely loyal, which is what moved Marion to do what she did on this day. Intercepting the melee a portion or so across the yard, Marion lit into the first bear, which put the 2 bears into defensive mode. She growled and barked at the bears, demonstrating her willfulness to defend Bruno at all costs. But that is when one of the bears swatted her upside the head and knocked her down. Without hesitation, the bear pounced on top of Marion and sank its teeth into the thick hide on her neck and began tossing her back and forth. It was trying to kill the dog, but Marion fought for her life. She tossed and turned while nipping and biting at the bear's sensitive nose. Bruno ran interference as his girlfriend was bearing the brunt of the bear's angst. Having pinned Marion to the ground, the bear glanced up toward Bruno as he dashed in and out and raised a ruckus. Marion took this break in the violence to wiggle free of the bear's jaws and flee to the safety of the house. Marion's owner, having witnessed a portion of the attack, let Bruno and Marion into the home, preventing any further injury to either dog. The bears, having now been completely irritated, milled around for a few moments before fleeing the scene. As her owner checked out her injuries, Marion's condition took on a dire turn. She had severe puncture wounds on her legs, neck, and left cheek, and her left eye was bleeding and swollen. The bear ripped large wounds in the dog's flesh, calling her survival into question. Marion was rushed to the emergency vet clinic of Niceville for emergency care. Cleaning and bandaging her wounds and giving her a hefty dose of don't care, don't feel it juice brought some peace and calm to Marion. Her owner took a TikTok video of the results of the bear attack, and I've linked to it below this article for your review. I hope the account is monetized because the more we look at it, the greater the likelihood of it generating some money for her treatment. The video of Marion's injuries racked up hundreds of thousands of views over the coming hours and days, highlighting the bravery of the dog, as well as the dangers encounters with bears can bring. A major concern of the veterinarians treating Marion was the possibility of rabies transmission to her from the bear. On top of all the additional treatment, Marion's rabies vaccination likely received a re-up just in case. As for the motivation of the bear attack, the presence of dogs has been linked to being a contributing factor in stimulating aggressive behavior in bears, of all types, everywhere they're present around the world. The bears were likely acting out of defense to what they considered a threat, or may have been responding to a prey drive directed toward a small prey-sized animal. The bears were not found to be protecting a cached animal carcass, but one of those bears was a sow, and the other her nearly grown cub. Speaking of cubs, our Cub Tier membership on Patreon, linked below, will give you ad-free early access to episodes, photos, and notes. And the $3 per month goes a long way in helping me continue to produce educational and entertaining content like this. Florida black bear populations, once threatened at near extinction levels, have now rebounded to a robust number of approximately 4,000 bears. The Florida black bear population spread across vast stretches of pine flatwoods, oak hammocks, and palmetto thickets works out to only a fraction of a bear per square mile, yet encounters are more common than ever. Their range now covers more than half of the state's land area, over 28,000 square miles. Bears are especially common in the central region around Ocala, in the East Panhandle, and in parts of North Florida, where populations are connected with bears in Georgia. In the last 2 decades, calls to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission about bear sightings and interactions have nearly quadrupled, from just under 2,000 calls in 2005 to more than 7,000 in 2024. Of those, the majority now involve non-core complaints, meaning the bear was simply present rather than causing harm, though a significant share still involve conflicts. As usual, the discussion regarding how to balance black bear populations has turned political, with activists and interest groups arguing against reinstituting hunts, while pro-hunt enthusiasts pull in the opposite direction, with no clear solutions having been reached so far. After reviewing the facts surrounding this episode, I'm left with a few questions for you. Should bear spray manufacturers develop a remote-controlled bear spray device specifically mounted on a dog collar to protect our furry friends? Would the release of irritant from such a device teach both the bear and the dog to avoid each other in the future? Do you think Marion was a brave dog for protecting her boyfriend Bruno? I gotta say, she seems like a real sweetheart to me. I will gladly read and reply to your thoughts, so post them in the comments section below, and let's talk about it. Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.